Welcome to Dyslexic Programmer. My mission is to get you, the everyday person, into programming. I am dyslexic and I am the dyslexic programmer, and I'm going to make things so simple because guess what? Programming isn't that difficult if it's explained in a straightforward way. So, without further ado, I'm going to jump into exactly what a variable is, but first, as ever, I'm going to tell my favorite dyslexic joke. A dyslexic man walks into a bra. So that's my favorite joke, just to warm up here, make things a little bit lighthearted, and here we go. So, what is a variable? Well, it's just a name that we store a value in. That value could be a number. It could be some text known as a string. So I could call it anything I want. So the first word is going to be a variable. So I could call it name. I could call it this. I could call it car. And that would be the name of my variable. If I wanted to have two words as a name, I'd have to put an underscore. Purely because you can't have a space in a variable. So I could have car underscore name. But I couldn't have car name because there's a break in the variable. So for this example, I'm going to call my variable box. I could call it anything I want, but I'm going to call it a box because I really want to illustrate a point. A variable is a box. And what do you do with a box? You store something in it. And we're just going to tell the computer what we want our box to be called, in this case box. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to tell the computer to store something in the box. And that is what a variable is. So, box, and I'm going to write equals. And this equals is telling the computer that we're about to tell it what to stick in the box. So the box is the variable name. The equals is telling it to get ready to stick something in that box. And now we're going to write double quotations. You could use single, but it doesn't matter at this point. And I'm going to write, this is in the box. End of quotations. Now what it's telling the computer is, the box's name is box in this case, and we're saying what's in the box is inside these quotations. The computer is going to forget about the quotes because it's classed as syntax, which is just telling the computer what to do. So it's going to keep hold of box as our variable name. It's not going to worry about repeating the equal sign to us because it's just telling the computer what to do. And then the double quotations is simply telling the computer that whatever's inside the quotations is what it should store in the box. So it's basically, if I highlight this, what's highlighted there is what's going to be stored in the box. So it's basically going to stick that into box. Now let me illustrate this. I'm going to do it in something called the Python shell. Don't worry about what that is. It really doesn't matter, but it just illustrates ubiquitously across all programming languages what this is. So I'm going to type in box, and now you see the computer has returned this is in the box, because all the computer does is it sees the word box, it runs this line of code, and it goes, what is box equal to? Well, it's equal to what's in the quotations. Oh, and what's in the quotations is this is in the box. So it basically takes this and sticks it straight in the box, and then whenever you write box, you don't have to write this out anymore. You can just write that. If we wanted to put a number in, we wouldn't do the quotations because the quotations tell the computer that this is a string. And a string is just something inside quotations. So if we want to put a number, if I want to make box equal to 10, okay, now I just run it again. And guess what? I write box and it comes up with 10. And that's where you can then start doing mathematical equations with variables. So that's pretty much it for this video in terms of what is a variable. But just as a really quick example, I know it's early on, but we'll just go box times 2. And look what happened. We told the computer to times whatever the value is of box by 2. And we got 20 because it's times box by 2 and the value of box is 10. So now we got 20. And as just a very brief example, although this may be slightly outside the scope of this video, if it was a string, again, just inside the quotations, I write this is in the box, and then I run it, comes up, and I write box. Okay, great. Now I've got my text being stored in the box instead of a number. It overrides it. Now, if I type box times 2, what do you think is going to happen? So before it times the value of box by 10, which equaled 20. But now we've got text. So let's have a look. Simply all it did was times the text by 2. So we just got double the text. And I could do any number of mathematical equations with what's in that box, whether it's text in a string or whether it's a number value. At the end of the day, that first word, which has to be connected with an underscore, is simply a way to store information. And I can actually override it to anything I want. So I could even say box equals 50. Now if I write box 50, and it's now been overridden. So that is exactly what a variable is. Really some nice and simple stuff. Subscribe to the channel, and we're going to progress nice and easily through a nice overview of programming in a really digestible way, because again, you can see how simple this stuff is. It's just a matter of coming up with mental models in terms of how you picture it. When I see a box, you see, it works. When I see a variable, I just picture a box with something being stored in it. And when you see like a whole bunch of lines of code with all different variables equaling all different things, I just see a couple of boxes with different values inside. So I hope that helps, and do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.